75% of people who invest in XRP don't know what coin velocity means for the XRP ledger. Most of the time, people say that XRP can be used over and over again and that its price will never change. Are those people right, or do they not see something very important that's right in front of them? In this video, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how many times XRP can be used every day and what will happen in the next few months. We're going to go into a lot of great information right away, so let's get started. 74.1% of XRP buyers don't know what token velocity is, which could be the real reason why XRP is having trouble going to the moon. You need to know this if you own XRP. This is how it breaks down. What does coin velocity mean? The speed of a ticket is equal to how often it changes hands. To find velocity, divide the total number of transactions by the amount of stock that is moving around. When velocity is high, dealing happens a lot. When speed is low, hoofing happens more. Simple, but it has a huge effect. What does it mean when tokens are constantly sold? There is downward pressure on the price. Tokens are held when the motion is low. There is upward pressure on the price. This is a simple case of supply and demand with a crypto twist. Token velocity and XRP are built so that transfers can happen quickly. Banks buy, move, and sell money right away. That is, XRP changes hands really quickly. This simply speeds up the speed of tokens. The secret trade-off is that high velocity is good for payments and liquidity but bad for price growth. For this reason, XRP is not seen as a way to keep value like Bitcoin, but rather as a way to make transactions. While the way XRP is designed allows for fast transactions, instant settlement through Ripple, on-demand liquidity, huge trade volumes on exchanges, and regular escrow releases that add to supply. That speed has costs, this person is saying, because XRP was made to be fast. Is it possible to fix high speed? Yes, it can by staking projects that make people hodl. This is how Flare and the whole DeFi layer are being built. Because we can lock up some of our XRP supply, the amount that is available will go down, which will help prices rise. By burning tokens, the supply goes down, but only slightly. This won't have any effect on the price unless the amendment changes how much is burned per transaction. This won't make a difference in our lifetimes, our kids' lifetimes, and their kids' lifetimes. We're seeing development in real time for new use cases like tokenizing real-world assets. When you compare XRP to other coins, Bitcoin is like a low-speed, hodl society. Ethereum has a middle speed, as well as gas, DeFi, staking, stablecoins, and ultra-high speeds that are used for trades. Now, Ethereum, we just went through the worst crypto collapse in history in terms of liquidity. In times of need, the price of Ethereum went through the roof. It cost $30, $50, or even several $100s to make a trade on Ethereum. Is this really the network of the future? Since the XRP system could have done that without even flinching. Does talk about how XRP's speed is more like that of safe coins than Bitcoin's. As an investor, what do you need to think about? If you think that having XRP will make it go through the roof, you may not understand how the token works. Not just time, but also a lot of adoption and desire are likely to cause prices to rise. The key to slowing down XRP's speed will be tokenization. High token velocity means that XRP is great for payments, but it's hard for the price to rise over the long run. You will be a better, smarter consumer if you understand this. Finally, I think that token velocity is the most overlooked idea in crypto. If you're really into XRP or any other token, you need to know how speed affects them. We're going to talk about a lot of things here. I want to play this video for you because I think it really shows what Ripple is trying to do on a large scale. Ripple's main goal is to make the internet a place where value can be exchanged. How can we move value the way we move data these days? Also, that's our big picture, 10-year plan for how the world will change. Really, it's about how to tone that down and make it practical and real for today and tomorrow. Plus, I believe that to create an internet of value, you need to link the value stores. And banks hold trillions and trillions of dollars worth of assets. This is as big of an issue as the value of Bitcoin is right now. In order for the internet to be useful, we need to link the banks, payment service companies, and MSBs. We're happy to say that we've made a lot of work on that. Okay, let's get started. The velocity of money on the XRP ledger shows how fast XRP moves around the network. Basically, it shows how busy the ledger is at any given time, making deals and transferring value possible. We talked about the math here, which is market capitalization times the number of transactions in USD. This method is the opposite of the NVT network value or transactions ratio that is used in on-chain analytics. A higher rate means that more tokens are being used on the network more often. Does things on the XRP system? The XRP ledger movement shows how often XRP is used to send money, make payments, or bridge gaps in liquidity. Ripple's on-demand liquidity model lets institutions buy XRP, send it across borders, and sell it right away. This means that XRP tends to have a higher velocity than assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are usually kept or staked. Because XRP moves through transactions so quickly, it acts more like a utility token or a safe coin in circulation than a way to save money. What does high and low motion mean? We did talk a little more about that here. High speed means there is a lot going on. Banks that use XRP ledgers or safe coins to move money quickly. It goes up when usefulness and adoption are growing, and it often happens before price drops or rises if transaction volume is also going up. Low velocity suggests that buyers who hold XRP mostly hold onto it, which limits its use in transactions and could make it harder for the network to handle payments. The XRP ledger shows changes in speed. New data from the on-chain shows that the speed of the XRP ledger has been going up since late 2024 and into early 2025. This is happening at the same time that DEX activity, tokenized asset transfers, and payment amounts are all going up. Analysts, such as cryptocurrencies, have noticed that this measure going up often happens before prices go up because it shows that the blockchain is actually being used and that money is moving around. So, a lot of people wonder if the price of XRP will ever go up if it can be used hundreds of times every day. This means that XRP could be used hundreds or even thousands of times every day, but that doesn't mean that the price cap is set. How velocity, liquidity, demand, and accessible supply work together is what's important. When there is more desire for liquidity than XRP that can be used efficiently again, the value of XRP goes up. Why great reuse doesn't stop prices from going up. The main formula for figuring out utility value estimates the total amount of payments over the available quantity and speed. Fewer tokens would be needed to settle global payments if XRP was used 100 times every day. But that's only true if banks and liquidity providers can reuse the money in a smart way across all the corridors. In reality, geography regulations and corridor isolation break up liquidity, which means that XRP needs to be kept locally to keep payment flows going. There are these amounts of money all over the world. You could use XRP and all of these different flows, but that's not how it works in real life. For these flows, and these flows, you will need this much XRP. At some point, there will be more desire for XRP than supply. For example, the speed of transactions on paper could possibly be infinite since payments settle in 3 seconds. But institutional players still need to hold XRP reserves ahead of time to make sure there is instant liquidity. These held reserves create real locked value that helps prices rise and usage grow and scale around the world. Also, if these banks are going to really use XRP on a large scale, won't each of them want their own? They'll want to lock up their own XRP value and liquidity. When speed is no longer an option. In some situations, a high token velocity can slow price rise because it means that each token is moving around more quickly. If demand stays the same, the actual supply for transactions goes up, which can lower price pressure. Analysts have called